Hey WealthLab 8 users, Glitch here. Today we're going to talk about WealthLab 8 Build 99 and a new feature that we added to our strategy monitor that lets traders trade at the close, well, almost at the close, a little bit before the close using our strategy monitor. So one of the things we hear a lot is people want to test and trade strategies that enter and exit at the close, which is not the default behavior in WealthLab. In WealthLab, we analyze the information on a particular bar of data and then make a decision based on that bar as to whether we should enter or exit on the following bar. So the typical at close scenario is you look at the information on one bar, and then based on that data, you decide whether or not to enter and exit at the close of that bar. So it's a little bit difficult because by the time we analyze the information in the bar, the close has already occurred, so we can no longer place a trade at the close. Therefore, we need to analyze it a little bit earlier, a little bit before the close. So to do that in WealthLab 8, we have a couple ways of doing it. In our Power Pack, we have something called a one bar in future qualifier. So this is Volcker's MFI strategy, where it buys at the market, the bar after the money flow index crosses under 10. However, it sells at the market at market close if the close is greater than the high of one bar ago. So if the current close is greater than the previous high, we want to exit at that close. The problem is, though, we always sell the next bar at market open. So what this rule would tell us is that if the current close is greater than the previous high, then sell the next bar at market close. In order to compensate for that, we have this qualifier, one bar in future. So what this is saying is we're going to sell the next bar at market close if the close one bar ahead, if that bar's close is greater than the previous high. So this will let us exit at the close of the bar that we're looking at. However, the problem with this is that it will never generate trading signals. This is fine for back testing, and here I ran a back test on the last 5 years of data and the system looks good. So say I want to trade it now in the strategy monitor. You would put it in and run it on a daily scale. You would find that it would never generate orders because it's always looking one bar ahead. And therefore, if we open it as a C# strategy, we have here an index variable that's set to the current index plus 1. So what this is doing is advancing the index one bar ahead. And then it's saying if the index is less than bars.count. So what this means is that on the last bar of data, this code here will never execute. So this strategy will never be able to issue a trading signal because it's basically looking one bar in the future, which isn't possible in live trading. So how do we overcome that now? So let's open our strategy monitor and take a look at what we added for build 99. I'm going to drag that strategy over, and here's the settings. We'll trade it on one symbol. Well, actually, let's trade it on a data set. Let's say the Dow 30. And we have it set to daily scale. We can bring it down to 5 years of data like we have in our back test. And we have polling. So note that if I had streaming here, something disappeared. What disappeared? Let's go back to polling. So when you have a daily polling strategy, you have a new option here called at close signaling. So when I turn this on, you have yet another new option here, seconds before close. So what this new feature does is it will run the strategy this number of seconds before the market close. And it will download partial daily bars of the current day, add it add those partial bars to the end of the data in the data set. And it will run the strategy looking at the signals that were generated on the previous full bar. So since the previous bar is looking ahead one bar, that bar that it's looking ahead at becomes the partial bar that the strategy monitor is now analyzing. And it will look at any market close signals that are generated on that penultimate bar based on the partial bar. And if any were generated, it will issue them as market orders. So effectively, the bottom line here is this lets us trade market close strategies in the strategy monitor where previously we weren't able to. So I have this debug version of WealthLab configured to just set this next run to 1 minute in the future. So right now it's 12:44 in the afternoon here in Florida. So when I activate this, it should set the next run for just 1 minute ahead. So it'll, quickly run and allow us to, see what happens here. So let me activate it. It's getting the histories, the historical data, and it's set the next run for 1 minute ahead, 12:46:08. So let me pause the video until then. All right, so it's coming up in a few seconds here, but I did want to also point out that note at the end of the next run, it gives us this at close indication. This is telling us that the next run is actually going to be the special partial bar run that is going to only submit any at close orders that are signaled. So let's see what happens here. Now we are activated. We generated partial bars and we have 3 cells. So now notice the next run is set for today, a few hours after the market close. This is the normal daily strategy monitor run. So in this at close signaling mode, the daily strategy will get 2 runs. One, a few seconds, however you configure before the close, which will only do this special partial bar logic and take care of your market close entries and exits. And the second normal run will ignore any market close orders and only submit other types of orders, market, limit, stop. So let's take a look here. We have 3 signals. So we've got TRV, JNJ, and PG. So let's maybe run the strategy on TRV and let's see what we get. Let's go to our settings, type in TRV. So let's take a look at our chart. So yeah, we do have a position open. So let's open another chart here so we can turn on streaming and look at TRV. And then let's select a streaming provider and enable streaming. So yeah, here we go. So the close of this partial bar was definitely above the high. So therefore the MFI strategy issued the sell. So it's a little bit tough to wrap your head around possibly, but I tried to explain this as clearly as possible. Basically, this new strategy monitor feature lets you trade at close strategies that are looking ahead 1 bar at what the closing price would be on that day. So if we deactivate that strategy and configure it again, we'll just take another look that you'll look for this here, right where you select polling and daily. And as always, any questions or problems that you encounter with this, please report them on the forum. So we will talk to you there and hope you enjoy the new capability.